if India is the second largest exporter for sugar in the world, why are we importing conventionally? Like Q. And that's how it started. Like this Q was the fasad ki jad. So I learned on the job, started baking from home, set up, pop-ups which were not cool in 2013 but very cool now.
So
in
you
Select
have been
City.
cool since 2013.
I have. I think I've paved the way.
Yeah.
Imagine for you this would be really hard, but imagine a time when there was no Blinkit, no Zepto, no Zomato, no nothing, and you're running a food business. It was really, really hard.
You were on Shark Tank season 4. Your pitch got approved by Namita Thapar. You got an investment from
Yeah.
How did that reshape Confect's impact in the market?
Shark Tank has helped immensely. It has given us a lot of visibility. It has separated me from the pack. So much so that even Walmart called earlier this week and said, hey, we want you on board. We've had people from Canada come in, so we're entering like really, really big countries and doing big box stores with them and big product concepts. So it's really restored everything. I mean, it's just put into perspective all the mehnat I've done.
What exactly are the pointers for somebody who has 50,000 rupees right now and is planning to start something of their own? What would you guide them in order for them to surpass all those hurdles that you had in your beginnings for them to save some time?
I think
Thank you so much for sitting down for this podcast, Chef.
anytime.
It's absolutely a pleasure hosting you here. And before talking about Chef Gauri, let's talk about Gauri Verma. Who are you beyond your title, beyond all the achievements? Who is Gauri Verma?
So I wouldn't say who's Gauri Verma, I'll say who's Chef Gauri. And there's a reason. So if you realize that my handle is only Chef Gauri, I don't believe in surnames because neither should my maiden name describe or define who I am, and nor should my married name. Wow. So that's why I never put a surname on my social handles because it's just not required. It's just me. So who's me? I'm a thoroughbred Libran. I'm a Lakir ka fakir, literally. I think I have minor OCD issues as well. I'm a stickler for cleanliness. I'm a pro-risk person in life. I love adventure. I leap before I look. And I love to party. I love to socialize. I've learned this new word about an introvert, extrovert, but an introvert, but who's an extrovert only in places where they like to
Ambivert.
be. Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
I think I'm one of those.
Yeah.
So I don't like. If I'm in places that I like, I'm like the brightest thing there. And if I don't want to be there, then you could call me an introvert if you didn't know me.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think this conversation is going to be amazing. I loved it. It was so honest. And talking about your brand Confect, we saw the story of your wedding cake.
Yeah.
But I want to know what actually happened in the present moment and how it actually inspired you to start Confect itself.
I think I'm grateful for the fact that mishap happened now that I look back. I mean, I think everything in life is an accident and you take it as a sign. This is my spirituality kicking in post 40, so I'll apologize in advance. But I think it just pissed me off enough. And like I said, I leap before I look.
Yeah.
It was one night and I was like, okay, I'm going to show this, what is this thing? Ye cake maker kya hai? And main banaungi cake and all of that. And that led to some drinks and then a Facebook page launch which said G's Patisserie because everyone used to call me G.
Yeah.
And woke up the next morning, realized what I'd done, but then, too khud girls to be like, oh, now I can't take this down. So we got to follow through. And that's what I did. So I learned on the job, started baking from home, set up, pop-ups, which were not cool in 2013, but very cool now.
Yeah. So
in
you
Select
have been
City.
cool since 2013.
I have. I think I paved the way.
Yeah.
And then I think I realized it was really tough. So imagine for you, this would be really hard. But imagine a time when there was no Ola, no Ola, Uber, no Blinkit, no Zepto, no Zomato, no nothing. And you're running a food business. It was really, really hard.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you would depend on auto guys. You would try and find local taxi guys. You go to local taxi stations to say, will you tie up with me? It was really, really difficult to do anything at that point in time. So I didn't even understand what scalability would be like. Having said that, I did run a cloud kitchen before a cloud kitchen became a cloud kitchen. Before it was called a cloud kitchen.
Should we call you the trendsetter for all of these things? The pop-ups
I don't know, but that's how it rolled out. And had I known there was going to be a Zomato and a Zepto, I might have stuck around to a bakery, but then I didn't. I decided that I needed to do something bigger. If I'd given up my entire career, I had to make a lot of money out of it somehow, and cakes were not making money at that point in time. And I couldn't see how to scale the business, and that was the B school brain. So I said, if India is the second largest exporter for sugar in the world, why are we importing conventionally? Like Q. And that's how it started. Like this Q was the facade ki jad. And then I started researching and we realized that everything is getting imported. And I said, that just doesn't make any sense. Like again, I said, na, Lakir ka fakir, logical, black and white. Like, but this doesn't add up. Like if we make so much of the raw material, why are we importing the finished product? Why is no one connecting the dots? And that's what I saw a vacuum. And I didn't know the first thing about making products. So I bought some of the imported products and I started reverse engineering. And then I started studying papers from the Culinary Institute of America because India में confectionery में food को tech का कोई course नहीं है.
Oh, wow.
And then mad scientist and full pagalpan went on for 2 years to figure out how to do it. And it was hard because how do you explain to someone what you want to make that doesn't exist?
Wow.
So imagine going to buy an ingredient and you're trying to explain to him वो किस चीज में जाना है. तो उसको समझाओ ही कैसे? And you're thinking like Delhi 6. So now imagine telling someone in Delhi 6 what fondant is. And that's what you want, and for that you need a list of ingredients. It was really,
Oh my
really.
God, that is such a difficult communication. How did you pull that off?
It was a lot of hours.
Yeah.
A lot of persistence. I made friends with everybody, including the chai samosa pakoda wala outside. I used to sit there for hours every day sipping tea and just watching their business and learning by watching what's going on in their stores. That's how I understood. अच्छा ये इस business से आया तो ये product ले रहा है तो अच्छा ये वाला product इस product में जाता है. Like this ingredient goes into this product.
Wow.
And it took me months, 6 months of doing this every day to understand which ingredient to buy for my products.
Wow.
Yeah. Today you can Google it with sucks, but
oh my God, it would actually suck because you actually put in so much effort just to know a piece of information of how things work.
Yeah.
Wow, feels like I'm speaking to Ratan Tata. I don't know why.
It was like an adventure. So, like I said, adventure junkie. I love that kind of stuff, and I think a lot of things about my nature came out.
Yeah.
Because it was just me. It wasn't like I had to do a job or I was not answerable to anyone. I was only answerable to myself.
Wow, beautiful.
And that was pretty cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it is also a notion in the market that whilst you are building a business builds you.
True. I'm
it?
not the same person I was in my 30s when I started this.
What have you seen the difference?
Oh my God. I'm much calmer. I'm much calmer. I think earlier I would flare up and lose my temper on everything.
Okay.
I've learned to conserve my energy. I've learned that let some sleeping dogs lie. I've learned the fact that in production, every day some shit will hit the fan. So you should just walk in and be like, "Aaj kaun sa bum phata hai? Pehle hi bata do." You know, just expect it. Don't think you're gonna have a perfect day on any day. Like something's always gonna give way. Yeah. So you should just be prepared for that. And when you start mentally preparing for the fact that things do go wrong, and it's normal for things to go wrong, then is when I think you can ease out completely. I also realized that doing business in India is very, very hard. Like very, very hard.
Okay.
Particularly
the industry that you're working on, or
I think the industry, yes.
Yeah.
But in general, like there's a lot of whining and dining, and I don't mean like nice hotels and dinner. What I mean is like a lot of following up, lot of chasing, a lot of sir order nahi aaya, sir order laga do. A lot of sir अच्छा demo कराना है, chef भेजो. Then following up कि sir payments कर दो. You know, it's a lot. And then again on top of all of this general follow up, अच्छा sir कैसे है, बहुत time हुआ बात नहीं हुई. So I find it exhausting. It is exhausting. Like
emotionally draining.
It's not business. I understand business is relationships, and I truly believe in that. But relationships come through actions over time. They don't come over a cup of coffee and fake promises. Like I don't understand how that works, and I'm very old school that way. I didn't understand that in the beginning. However, I think now being in the industry for over a decade, I have made my own space. People have understood my temperament also. So they know for a fact that how I operate and how I am. Still, it is a very gender-biased
Absolutely, I wanted to know
space
more about
to be
it,
in.
that it's a very male-dominated industry.
It is.
And
I mean,
how did you actually make a pedestal for yourself? You created a pedestal for yourself. It was not given to you. How did you do that?
So most of the industries in India are gender biased, but I was not prepared for. One is gender bias in the industry, and one is just how you're programmed and wired. So what I mean to say is like, okay, while barrier to entry may be tough, okay, I solved that. I built my own company. to hell with that. So we're done. We're not going to work in hotels and kitchens. But and most of the female chefs that I know, and I've said this before also, run their own kitchens and run their own businesses because it is not easy. And you choose which war you want to fight. You can't win both. Either you want to be a successful business person or you want to, do like Nari Shakti. You can't do it both because it takes too much energy, right? Having said that, what I found what was interesting was the gender bias that came that, oh, she's a woman, she's probably not the head of the business. So when I set up exhibitions, my husband never believed me, Jatin, and I took him for one of these exhibitions and I said, just stand next to me and you just watch. Just watch. Don't do anything else. Just watch. I'm right there. So he was amazed that every single person who came just automatically walked to him. Automatic. You know how you sit in a cafe and the bill
Yeah.
comes to the guy?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's the
Oh
same
my
thing.
God, wow.
And he's like, I didn't believe you till I felt it for myself. And it was like, it's crazy. And then the best part was he would tell them कि मैं तो यहाँ सिर्फ work करता हूँ, boss तो वो है, you know. So and then the
He
look
set
on
the
their
tone
face,
straight.
yeah, he set the tone straight, but they were looking so perplexed because then they didn't know what to do.
Yeah, how do
So-
I deal with her? She's a woman.
And the other barriers that happen because of all of this is that when I'm sitting to talk to someone on rates and deals, they're not physically comfortable to talk to me because they're generally used to talking to other men when it comes to rates and pricing and negotiation, and they have their own way of talking and their own
Absolutely.
male banter, right? But when you got someone like me sitting, they're very uneasy. So for me, closing an order was very, very tough because how do I talk to distributors who only look at their wife or their partners in the space of a kitchen? How is he taking me seriously? And no one talks about it, but it's very tough. And very few chefs who've gone out into the commercial world where they're selling product. Go sell product, you know how hard it is. How do you get a man who's supposed to buy? How do you sell to someone who doesn't take you seriously? So how will he take your product seriously? You know?
Yeah.
And that's when I realized that if it goes on like this and I'm striking out as much as I am, I need to find a space that really understands what I'm doing. And that's when I pivoted my business to a global business. And I said, either is larai mein nahi jana, it's not my temperament. Let's go to a better space that values. So, they say that where if you have a diamond that's sitting in a gutter, it's in the wrong place. But if it's on a ring finger, then it's in the right place. And it's not about who you are, it's where you are. So,
Wow.
and that's what I kind of did. I moved. We still have a business in India. It's the smallest, like I said on Shark Tank. But US is the biggest business. And when I did it, people laughed then also. Ki, Acha, tum to pagal ho gaye. Tum Americans ko hi jaake sprinkles bechoge aur ye sab. And I said, why not? The consumer there is educated, smart, and they value quality.
And they accept it. They accept it that a woman is actually running a business.
For them, it's culturally normal.
Yeah, it's actually normal.
In fact, it's a pro.
Yeah.
It's not a con.
Absolutely.
So I found my space, and I think the rest is history.
There are a lot of women out there who actually have talent, are capable,
Yeah.
but they're waiting for permission to begin. What is one message that you give?
Oh my God, whose permission are you waiting for? Who are you? Like, stop waiting for permission, okay? Like, there is no need. The
Wow.
only permission you need is yourself. And
Wow.
honestly, there's one more thing I want to talk about. Like, there's so many things I want to talk about, but
Go on. I would love that. Please go on.
The one thing is that I always say this, that the only person who matters to you is you. And as cliche as that sounds, it's usually your family, your relatives, or your friends who will hold you back from doing what you want to do in life. And if you look back and you think, you guys are still young, but if you look back, you'll see that little voice in your head usually comes from someone you know. It never comes from a stranger. It's like when you open a new business, they'll come for that shagan wala order, but they don't really support your business. But the support comes from strangers. So Confect was built by women across the country who believed in something that I did, even when my family probably didn't believe in what I was doing. So that's the beauty of it. And that's the beauty of counting on yourself. I knew what I was doing. My family could not understand what the hell I was doing. For them, I was probably having a midlife crisis post-marriage.
Yeah, exactly. What was their reaction to you saying, okay, I'm going to be a founder, entrepreneurship is my next task? that I
They
want
just thought I'd lost it. Like, first they thought I'd lost it when I wanted to bake cakes after doing MBA from Oxford and on a
Yeah.
partner track. I mean, उनके लिए तो life was set. I mean, 30 पे कौन नौकरी छोड़ के entrepreneur बन के cake बना रहे, and also understand, like, from their point of view, we're like bawarchis. They don't
Yeah.
think it's a glamorous job at all.
वो शेफ नहीं होता, वो बावर्ची ही
बिकॉज
होता है,
उनके
exactly.
घर पे वाइब्स फ्री के लिए कुक कर रही है ना, तो वो वैल्यू कैसे बनेगी? बिकॉज अब वही वैल्यू तो वैल्यू खत्म हो गई. You know, you don't appreciate it till you probably step out and you get
Absolutely.
shitty food.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they thought that there was some serious problem. And by the time they got to kind of accept it, seeing how my efforts were going and I had knocked in some really big clients, then I said, ये भी बंद करना है और अब confect करना है. So they were like, bro, I don't know what you're on, like whatever. They're like, पूरे दिन पता नहीं क्या करती है, आटा गूंदते रहती है, you know, this is fondant. They didn't understand what's going on, but I had a vision, and of course today, as every Indian parent says, you know, कि हाँ बेटा हमें तो पता था, तुम कर ही लोगे. And I was like, yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I could see the
right.
support.
Yeah.
Wow. And
Yeah.
there are a lot of bakers out there who are underpricing themselves, undervaluing
Oh my
themselves.
God, yes.
And tell me about how can they actually value themselves for the right price. They are actually building themselves right now. There are a lot of D2C founders. We are in the D2C era right now.
Yeah.
And there are pop-ups. They are directly approaching the customers, but because customers don't believe in them, they choose to not believe in themselves and end up underselling. How can somebody right now, a baker who's watching this, can come out of it?
पहली बात तो I think you have to be a लंबी रेस का घोड़ा.
Okay.
You have to.
Yeah.
You think someone knew who I was? None of you guys knew who I was 10 years ago. None of you guys even knew who I was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But for the last, okay, 5, I started 12 years back, so let's do the math. For 7 years, nobody even knew who the hell I was, where I existed, and what I was doing. But I was doing. I was working every day. I was getting knocked down every day. I was getting demotivated every day. But I didn't give up. You found out who I was when Confect became something, but Confect didn't become something overnight. It took 9 years to get here. But 9 years of people telling me that ये कोई काम होता है, ये कोई business है. Exactly what I said on Shark Tank. इसका क्या business? ये भी business होता है.
Wow.
Exactly. But who knew me then? Who knew me when I was trying to be Will Smith from Pursuit of Happiness, putting my fondant in my dicky, you know, going shop to shop and saying, please buy my fondant. And I used to do that, you know. I think the first thing I let go of was pride. And you really have to strip down to bare bones because you know what you're doing and you have to take a bet on it and you do what you want. You need to do what you need to do to get there. So I used to tell those distributors, you know, ki, sir, please our product rakh lo, big jayega to paise de dena. At least give me a chance. Give me like put it on a shelf. I remember taking pictures of shelves. I remember getting ripped off by them, not getting payments. I remember them taking me to the dirtiest, filthiest, you know, traumatizing bakeries where people are in lungi and banyans and making cakes and I'm doing fondant demos. They're like, I mean, I have done it all. Maybe someday I should write a book for sure. Like,
yes, you
but
should.
I have done it all. Like, I left no stone unturned. And as shitty as it made me feel. But you know, those guys were much nicer than the women. Well, not the women, I won't say women, but some of the people at Select City Walk, when you do pop-ups and they just come and they're like, pity purchase, that was really bad. And people do it. And I speak to bakers and they say it still happens today, you know. And I want that to stop. But what I did about it is I realized it's not going to stop. Exactly what I said when you go to office, you know, ki aaj kaun sa bomb phatega. It's not going to stop. So what do? I took all that, I still do, channelized it, and I said, I'm going to show you one day. And I'm going to put all of that negativeness into my work. So I'm a workaholic now, completely. I'm obsessive about new products and innovation and scaling the company. I don't understand anything else.
Wow, you transformed your energy into something that could actually work out.
Yeah, and I really don't give too much about social do's or being visible. I mean, I don't have time for that. I was like, yeah, once I like, maybe I'm like a multi-billionaire, I'll have some time. I'll make the time. But when my money starts making money, that's the time when you get free. But till money doesn't make money, you work for it.
Absolutely. What is primarily the saturation point in the bakery industry primarily? Is it too many players, too many copied products? What is exactly wrong with the baking industry right now that people are not able to survive in it?
Price war.
Okay.
You have to define your product. A fondant my fondant sells at, we just raised the prices for the first time in 9 years because we could not take this additional hit of the war. And let's say we're at about $480 on sale after discount, okay? You get fondant today at $250, at $300. I don't know what the hell they're putting in there. But the point is, there's a buyer for everything. There was a customer of mine who bought, I don't know if Sandra, you're going to watch this, but I saw your order come in. And she's my customer for years, okay? We were not on sale. We are just revising the website on the pricing, and the new pricing is 625 rupees, so
Okay.
double what exists in the local market.
Got
She bought it. She bought it, and there's so many of my customers who bought it even after a 20% price hike, and even though you get a product at half the price, she
Is
could
it
have got
because
2
they
kilos.
have been addicted to the product? They love how it actually.
It's because the
works for them?
product is good.
Yeah.
So you focus on the. So my point of giving you this example was, you create value and loyalty in a customer. Now that doesn't happen in one go. It may not also happen with a lot of Gen Zs, but I had to throw that in there. But anyway, it takes time,
Yeah.
and the only way to win is consistency.
Yeah.
So if your product is good consistently, you will win. And this is what I tell the bakers: ye price war band karo. So if I got into the price war, today Confect will not be a brand. It would have been one of those in the pool that are selling for 250, 300, 350. I don't want to sell at that price. I've always wanted to be where I am. And I always say, you wanna be Johnson or you wanna be Patanjali? Like, what do you wanna be?
Yeah, you create
It's very
a standard for
simple.
yourself, absolutely.
Like where do you want to sit on this curve? And you have to understand market itni hai. अब कितने सारे लोग उस मार्केट में उतने ही बेकर्स हैं. Like how many people are you going to get into doing this? And for me, the change happened during COVID.
Okay.
Because that was the first time I realized that I had something good. Because till then everyone kept telling me imported is better. तो ये हम इंडियन क्यों लें? वो भी सेम प्राइस और सस्ता होना चाहिए imported से. That's how the typical mentality is, right? And the same buyers stopped buying from distributors and started buying from me because they had a chance to work with the product, which was not doing orders. It was not daily buzzer. They actually got a chance to give me a real shot. Not वो force वाला कि मैम ले जाओ try करो. They bought it themselves and then they realized, and that's when I grew the most. In fact, as a brand, and that's when I also realized that I was better than what was out there.
Wow.
And that whole thought process of imported is better than Indian. Today we are the largest Indian brand to export globally, and we're competing with heritage brands that are 100 years old, like Saturnice and all. And I'm the only one to do it because they said imported is better than Indian, and I'm like, no, bro, Indian is better than anything else. Make
You
it
proved
right,
it.
make
You
it
actually
good.
just came out
Yeah.
and proved it. And the fact that being an Indian woman, not a man, an Indian woman proved it. Wow.
So things stick with you. Like I said, now don't take that tana in a wrong way. Put it in the right place.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying this conversation a lot, a little too much to be honest. And when you talk about somebody who runs a bakery business,
Yeah.
what separates a bakery business to somebody who is simply just baking? Somebody who's just running a cloud bakery or something, because they have ambitions that high, but they won't be able to achieve it for some or the other reasons. Talking about primarily women who are married or with kids, they don't get time because of their kids, because they have their own studies. They primarily put their kids as a priority, their studies as a priority, their in-laws as a priority. Now they are just a person who's simply baking, and they are not considered as a baker who's running a business. So what is the key difference you'll highlight
You said it in your question yourself.
here?
They don't put themselves as a priority.
Wow.
So why should anyone else? Till you don't put yourself as a priority, you're not getting anywhere. You have to value yourself. Yeah, your in-laws are there, your husband is there, your kids are there, but who died and made you Mother Teresa? Like, come on.
Yeah.
Who were you before you got married? Like, do you have some crazy voodoo transformation after you get married? Like, how do you forget who you are? Like, how carefree you were in college, how you wanted to go for that blow dry, or you wanted to get your nails done, or whatever it is that you like to do. Like, how does that all go out of the window all of a sudden? Like, what? Who
After
told
having
you,
a
like,
family,
to
yeah.
become pativrata? And, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying balance.
Balance it out.
How do you just completely go into the other thing completely? Like, how does with your surname, does your identity change? I don't understand. That's why I said no
Yes.
surnames.
No surnames.
Makes no sense. In fact, I've still retained my maiden name. Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
And how did your family react to it? Like your son, I want to know about him. I love the content. I primarily look your content for him, to be honest.
my
He's
God.
the cutest.
He's so-
Like, does he flex that my mom is a founder, by the way?
I don't know what all he tells people. He really does tell people a lot of stuff about me. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I think
For
I don't
him?
know what to say about Ivan. He is mini me
Okay.
as a person. So he loves innovating. He loves baking. He's a typical 6-year-old boy, but he loves the camera. So I have now been instructed to set up his YouTube channel, which I have to do. So he's like, "Mama, your summer vacation project is set up my YouTube channel."
And
then
then mine, you do yours.
and then he's like, "How old do I have to be to have an Instagram page?" And I was like, "There's a while to go."
Yeah.
So yeah.
And currently operating in a market where there's so many people who have entered at and they're copying products, they're copying what everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
Matcha was in trend, everybody started matcha, and then there was a kunafa, everybody started
Yeah,
kunafa, right?
yeah.
What exactly are the pointers for somebody who has 50,000 rupees right now and is planning to start something of their own? What would you guide them in order for them to surpass all those hurdles that you had in your beginnings, for them to save some time and focus on those particular points?
So I would say stick to classics.
Okay.
Stick to what you would buy for your family and your kids. Because
Okay.
that's never going out of fashion.
Hmm.
And when you stick to the basics, you'll never go wrong. Because not everyone is up for a fad. And everyone thinks ki if there's a fad, oh, we'll ride the wave. But is your demographic on that wave? I don't think so. Like, I don't know how many of my bakers actually made that kunafa chocolate. And can I please confess that I haven't actually eaten the kunafa chocolate till today? Like, I haven't eaten it. Like, I was just, no. I've done every other thing with that combination.
Not the kunafa.
But I really haven't. Because there have been so many trends that come and go. And you just can't jump on everything, right? Stay true to who you are. I mean, मैंने तो matcha flavor नहीं निकाला अपने किसी product में. So,
Oh my god.
yeah.
And the most important fact that you were on Shark Tank season 4 and you got your pitch got approved by Namita Thapar. You got an investment from her.
Yeah.
How did that reshape Confect's impact in the market?
Oh my God. Okay. So to be honest, like, I think way more than what it did for Confect, it put me in the limelight. And I think it was largely because of the fact that how you're experiencing this time with me, I spoke my truth. I stood my ground. I'm a no-nonsense person. And I was not there for TRP. And after a point of being in the tank, I was there for well over 90 minutes. You kind of forget that you're in the tank because when you're having a discussion or an argument, then you're in it.
Yeah.
And then suddenly you realize after me, it's a blur to me. A lot of it is a blur. But it didn't happen instantly.
Okay.
And I remember telling my husband, देखा मैंने तो कहा था ना, I'm right. India's not ready. मैंने कहा था ना मैं US में भेज रही हूँ, मैं वहीं सही हूँ. इतना सारा publicity होने के बावजूद भी इतने कम calls आए. We got a huge spike, but not what we were expecting. A lot of inquiries, but from people who were not necessarily our customers. But then over this year, a lot has happened. A lot. I think the fact that a couple of other baking brands went, a couple of donut companies went, the fact that every season had one or two baking food people in the sweet space, that has made a difference.
Okay.
The fact that what I said to Piyush went viral, that helped heaps, I would say. So thank you, Piyush, from the bottom of my heart.
We'll cut it out and give it to you.
Because I went to the show to be me. I didn't go to the show to get free marketing. I mean, all that free came great. But I didn't go there to say anything or do anything to get anything. I was 100% myself. And I spoke the truth. And some take it well, some don't.
Absolutely.
I walked out of that show very happy. I, for the first time, feel seen by the world. I can really say that, and it's an incredible thing to feel. Because people, nationwide, people saw me for who I was and who I am as a person, because the real Gauri was out there, the Gauri that people know. In fact, my school friends called me and they said, "Tum badal nahi sakte." Gaali di ki nahi di, and when you talk about feedback, I got more calls from around the world, from Indians, than I got from people here. And all the people who called me from outside the world wanted Confect. So Confect has gone even bigger globally.
Wow.
And it's Indians who are leading the brand. They're saying, we want you to come. We want this confectionery brand because it's run by an Indian in the country that we're living in. We are so proud to have someone there. And it was unbelievable. So we've scaled. And over the year, I think post 6 months of Shark Tank, when all the episodes were finally over and it had settled down a bit, that's when the magic really started.
Okay.
And the magic is still on. I mean, I'm sitting here today with you, and it's been 15 months since I went on air,
Yeah.
and I do at least I don't know 6 to 8 interviews every month since
Wow.
it aired. It hasn't stopped. So it's just propelled me to keep doing what I'm doing. And I think more than the brand, I become an advocate of just do what you want to do. But yeah, coming back to your business wise question, yes, Shark Tank has helped immensely. It has given us a lot of visibility. It has separated me from the pack completely. So much so that even Walmart called earlier this week and said, hey, we want you on board.
Odd.
Yeah, in fact,
Wow.
we've had people from Canada come in, so we're entering like really, really big countries and doing big box stores with them and big product concepts.
Yeah.
So it's really restored everything. I mean, it's just put into perspective all the mehnat I've done. That's what I would put.
It actually shows you've worked very, very hard, and
Yeah.
the details that you're mentioning, it is only coming out from the moments that you've lived out there. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I prepare for a single thing I say, because every time I've tried to prepare, I never end up saying what I prepare. So
It's better to be you.
it's just, and that's the simple thing. I don't
Yeah.
have to pretend. Like, I'm just me. I'm having a conversation with you, and it's for real.
What vision do you exactly have 5 years from now for Confect? Where do you see Confect? It's already global. You're already a superstar. So
Thank
now
you.
what's out there for you?
Oh my God. So there's so much more work I want to do. I think when I hit around 1,500 big box stores across the Americas, I think I'll be that's where I want to be at the end of 5 years. Whole Foods is my dream,
Okay.
and that's about 1,500 to 2,000 stores. It's always been on my bucket list.
Yeah.
I think that would be really amazing. Setting up global offices for
Yeah.
Confect would be also very, very cool. Having my own private jet with pink and white candy stripes, that is on my vision board. So that has to
Wow,
happen.
love it.
Yeah.
I want to see your vision board every year. Can you send me a picture of that every year?
Yeah.
Oh my god, wow.
Yeah, so I have some crazy,
The fact that
crazy
when I
dreams.
asked you that question, your first line was that I want to do so much more. The fact that somebody who has been on Shark Tank, somebody who has been a global superstar, and somebody who has a global brand, despite that, you're saying I have so much more to do. It's such a great inspiration.
I to always say party to abhi shuru hui hai. We're just getting started.
It's just getting started.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
What legacy will you, as Gauri Verma, will leave behind? Not Confect, remove everything. What legacy do you want to leave behind when people remember Achal Gauri Verma? What is something that should come to mind?
I'm the person who changed the face of confectionery for India, and I would want to be known as the Heston Blumenthal for India. That's my dream, because I love Heston. Yeah, and I think what he does is so cool. And if there's, I love Nigella too, and everybody wants to be Nigella, but I'll stick with Heston. It's fine, because he's an innovator and he thinks outside the box, and I want to do that. So Britain has him, and India has me.
Wow, absolutely.
Yeah.
And they were lucky to have you, obviously.
Thank you.
So, taking this podcast to our conclusion segment, that's the rapid fire.
Oh God.
I love it.
Okay. Oh my God. Now I'm scared, because like, anything will come out.
Cool.
Okay.
So, Instagram marketing or word of mouth?
Instagram marketing.
Really?
I can't do word of mouth anymore.
You did that back in the
A
days.
lot. I'm done. I think I will cry if I have to explain to another person what is fondant. Yeah. और उसको कैसे use करते हैं, उसका क्या करते हैं, I can't do it anymore. I can't.
One ingredient you can never compromise on.
Sugar.
Sugar.
Yeah.
Perfect.
But this is true though. No one touches my tea or coffee because they're like, it's too meetha.
Really?
And I'm laughing. Yes, it's true.
Do we have sugar in this?
It does.
It does.
It's true. I'm like the 2 or 3 sachet person. I'm not the 1 sachet person.
Wow.
Yeah. Now you guys know.
I love that about you.
Yeah.
One dessert you can eat forever.
Oh God, lemon tart.
Really?
Yeah.
But-
and I make the best one.
Okay, cool.
I haven't found a good one in Delhi. So there's a good chef out there who does a brilliant lemon tart. I'm your person. Send it over. And don't make it eggless, please. Please. Like, yeah, no.
Maybe after this, you will be waking up tomorrow with a lot of.
What a dream that would be. Like, imagine I wake up
Ma'am,
with
you
just
received a lot of
pastry
lemon tarts.
every Yeah, so for every baker in Delhi NCR, this is your open challenge. I'm a lemon tart freak. If you can give me a really sour, brilliant lemon curd, go for it.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Okay, it's going live. Go for it.
Yeah.
Cool. So, one business mistake founders repeat.
Oh, God. They make everything about themselves.
Okay.
And that's a huge problem. It's not about you, it's about the business. Nothing is happening to you. You know, it's like, oh, मैं ये कोशिश कर रही हूँ, but नहीं हो रहा है, and whatever. You internalize. Don't internalize, externalize. Like, understand what the problem is. Maybe you're not a part of the problem. Like, separate yourself. When you're a business owner, you're a separate entity from who you are. Like, Gauri and Chef Gauri. Gauri at home is very different. I'm Mama and G for my husband. But when I'm in office, I'm Hitler. I'm very different. I don't bring office home.
Yeah.
And it's a different zone. It's a different mode
Absolutely.
that you're in, and nothing is personal. You can't be like, उसने मुझे ऐसे कैसे बोल दिया? You know, that distributor didn't call me back. He didn't reply to my message. He's left me on scene. Like, no, bro, it's not personal. You know, and that's the first thing that founders need to understand. Like, you
Don't take it
cannot.
personally.
It's not. And even if it is, just forget it. Keep pushing on. Like, just ignore, because, like I said, in India, that's what you need to do. Keep pushing, keep pushing, keep changing, chasing. So keep doing that.
If you could leave every young founder with one message, what would it be?
Don't let anybody tell you what to do.
Okay.
Own every decision that you make, good, bad, ugly. Then you own your loss and you own your profit.
A lot of people out there are actually looking for mentors. They want somebody
Yeah.
to mentor them for their business. They want somebody to guide them because they don't want to make a mistake. People are afraid to make mistakes.
True.
Now, right? So, do you think that can be altered in India?
A mentor cannot stop you from making a mistake.
Yeah.
They can only lay out the deck of cards.
Hmm.
And still you will be the one who will have to choose. What you expect from a mentor, like you go to a shrink and you're like, tell me what the answer is. I've had a fight with him and what should I say? And you generally ask this to your friends. If you fight with your friends or your boyfriend or someone, you'll be like, अच्छा but मैं बोलूँ क्या उसको? You know, what do I say to him? Or how do I reply or whatever? You're not going to get that in business.
Yeah.
No one is going to make a decision for you. I will always tell you, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mentor a lot of chefs. I mentor some bakers as well. And I always lay it out. And then that's their personal choice, because they have a better understanding of what's going on in their life, what's going on in their mind, where they are in their life at that point in time, like in a headspace. So they are the best to make that decision. So you will make a mistake regardless, because even though the choices are very clear, what you choose is on you.
Absolutely.
So
And you need
that's
to own up to
and
it.
you have to own up to it. Like they haven't. It's not that every product I ever launched in Confect was a super hit. Yeah, I made mistakes. I've owned them, and you know what? That's why I won so much respect. If you ask some of the OG bakers, they will say that when we gave Gauri feedback, she took it, and she came back and she worked on it and she fixed the product, and that's when I won them over. When I said, oh, maybe you're right and I'm wrong. Not कि मैं तो chef हूँ, मुझे सब पता है, तुम कौन हो? That doesn't work. So even till today, we went from like maybe 10 products to 800. And we did that because everybody kept saying, आपका fondant कितना अच्छा है, अब आप ये color बनाओ, आपका color इतना अच्छा है, तो अब sprinkle बनाओ. And it was my team, my clients who came and said कि ये करो, ये करो, ये करो, ये करो. Even now we had a hour, someone came and said, please make petal dust. And I know who you are, so I made it. And it's a lot of beautiful shades, so I'll send you some. But this is what I do. Like, I meet someone and Anuj, you said you want like eggless macaron mix. So yes, I'm working on it. But this is what people do. They come to me and they're like, ye banao, ye banao, ye banao. So there's so much on my plate always that I'm working on. And I do it on a global level. So it's crazy because the demand from different countries is different. But the most beautiful part about my business is that I'm in the business of happiness. So cakes are only cut at celebrations globally. Cakes don't see religion, culture, caste, creed, politics. It's a cake. And it goes into every home.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's unreal, right?
It's,
I think I found the coolest business in the world. Like, it's the best
the
business.
most creative and the most coolest.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and where it goes ends up also being a lot of fun. So, yeah, I'm grateful.
So I have a final question, but before that, one advice for Gen Z.
Oh God. Can you please stop being so entitled? Like, please, like from the bottom of my heart. I know you don't mean it, And I know that you're probably genetically now wired like that. You just
Yeah.
think you should get everything.
Yeah.
And no,
No.
it does not work that way.
Life doesn't
Sorry.
work that way.
If you come and intern with me, I will still make you work for it. So yeah, if you're
Life
entitled,
doesn't
just
work
don't come.
that way,
No, it doesn't. Life doesn't. And if someone doesn't tell you that now, that's a problem.
Absolutely.
I mean, Ivan is 6. And I mean, looking at you guys, I'm petrified of what's going to happen by the time he is in some generation. But
He's already going for YouTube.
yeah, he wants a YouTube
By
channel.
11, I think by the age of 11, he'll be like, okay, next time buying a Lamborghini. I know that.
He could be the next Makani Kalkit for all I know. But,
Absolutely.
You know, like, but that's the thing. I think you just give him the right values, and that's what it is. When it comes to raising him, I give him the right values. Like he has to, and now that he's just at that point where he's going to start learning about money, I've told him he has to learn to earn money. He needs to know the value of money. He's going to do chores at home, and he's going to make that money. It's not just going to come, you know. And now he tells me sometimes, can you just buy me this? And I'll be like, no, it's not in my budget. And now he started me pushing back and saying, no, you know, you need to understand budgets. You need to understand that you just can't have every toy you put your finger on. And it has to start now. You know, consequences also have to start now. And I have an intern who worked with me for a year, and she's just been placed at a fantastic Big Four. And I think she came and she told me that because I pushed her and I prepared her for so many things that were going to happen, she was really well prepared for the outcome of the interview, and she aced it. So I think I'm tough, but it's better that you get it from me than anyone else outside.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And no more sass and Discord and some other weird like crying emojis and stuff. Like, please spare me the torture. The sticker thing was cool though. I'd probably do it for 5 minutes and then I'll be done with it. Sorry, but yeah.
Got it. Completely understandable. And my final question for concluding this podcast: what would you name your current chapter that you are in of your life right now?
Oh, the comeback.
How?
Yeah, it took like a second. Sorry, I mean, I didn't even have to think so much about it. It was like the comeback. Yeah, for sure. Because I was grinding, and then we had Shark Tank, and over this year, it feels like every single buddy who I had distributors who had written me off 3 years ago come back and talk to me. Like, yeah.
It's seriously a comeback, my God.
So that's what this year feels like to me. Like, hey, you know, like I'm at a place where I've earned my place. I'm at a place where I've earned my respect, and people now see that she did it. Like, she really did it, you know. And they didn't just go on the fact that I look like this, or my hair's like this, and I don't wear Indian, and my Hindi is not great. They did judge me for all of it. But now they take me seriously because ये तो ऐसे ही है, but she did it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, in her own skin. Without having to transform into some chameleon, I don't know. But yeah, I did it.
This is one of the best podcasts till date, and I'm not joking about it. I have been shook to my very core, and I could feel every emotion that was coming from you. Thank you so much for sitting down for this podcast.
Always.
And it was absolutely an honor hosting you. Thank you so much.
Ditto. Loved it.